On the 29th of May, 1948, the first UN peacekeeping mission, the United Nations Truce Supervision Organization, began its operations in Palestine. In remembrance of this day, the UN General Assembly designated the 29th of May as the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. As this year marks the 20th anniversary of the adoption of UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security, this year's theme is Women in Peacekeeping, a Key to Peace, to acknowledge the crucial role female peacekeepers fulfill in their missions. Today, we, as Konrad-Adenauer-Stiftung, want to honor the contribution the more than 110,000 peacekeepers in 13 peacekeeping missions are making for international peace and security. Peacekeepers are at the front lines on a daily basis. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, they continue to provide essential services to vulnerable communities. They are risking their lives in hostile and foreign environments and embody the much-needed solidarity of our times. As a tribute to their engagement, we give them a voice.
As a force commander, I command the military component here in UNFICYP, and within that we have 14 different nations. My female peacekeepers here in Cyprus, they represent 12% or just under 12% of my total force. They're on the patrols on the ground, they are planners, they're operators, they're logisticians. They fill exactly the same suite of responsibilities and jobs that the men do. And I would even add in, they're actually an essential element of capability for me. And it's quite a military term, but without them I could not fulfill my mission. Females actually represent diversity of thought, and for the complexities of the mission we have here in Cyprus, I need a full suite of capabilities for which to get at the problem. Women should join UN peacekeeping because they represent half of society. Therefore, they're half of our talent pool. Secondly, to serve your nation under your own national flag and then to serve under a UN flag gives you a sense of purpose. And third is to make a difference, and we do make a difference here on the ground.
Building trust is a critical step on the longer road toward lasting reconciliation. And this is why the mission has really prioritized supporting multi-ethnic trust, however it is manifest, whether it is promoting good governance and access to services, ensuring gender equality, or empowering youth. Our trust-building work is bringing tangible results to people in Kosovo. The mission has helped communities build bridges across language barriers by supporting the development of the largest Albanian-Serbian-Albanian dictionary available online. We have also supported the creation of the Kosovo Trust Building Platform. This is a first-of-its-kind digital platform, a hub of information on trust-building initiatives that is already creating new streams of positive storytelling. Of course, in our current circumstances, amidst the global coronavirus pandemic, this digital platform has taken on new importance. It has created a virtual space to share critical health and other information in multiple languages. And it's also allowed people to connect and express solidarity, even as we're practicing physical distancing. Now, the mission has had to adapt very quickly and mobilize resources to respond to emerging needs related to COVID-19. One of the things that we've been able to do to support communities is to provide donations to all 38 municipalities in Kosovo to help them provide for the basic food and hygiene needs of those most vulnerable. We have also supported shelters for survivors of gender-based violence, and we have intensified our prevention efforts in that area. UNMIC has also supported young innovators from diverse communities to come together and cooperate using innovative solutions to fight COVID-19. These are just a few of the examples of the ways in which UNMIC is working to build trust and support communities in Kosovo. And I'm convinced that in our current time of crisis, mutual trust has never been more important and more critical to our collective well-being. Peace is a constant work in progress. It is a continuous experiment in finding common ground, even when we disagree, and actually, especially when we disagree. And that work in progress is precisely that. It is really hard work. It requires time and resources and the best contributions of everyone, not only those in uniform, but also civilian mediators, interpreters, communicators, engineers. The list can go on. Perhaps most importantly, I like to highlight that peacekeeping requires contributions of women and men. If we are to fully harness the broadest range possible of talents and ideas to effectively tackle the biggest challenges to peace. I am particularly proud to work for UNMIC, where we have nearly achieved gender parity. More than 45% of our international staff are women peacekeepers. I'm convinced that this has been a critical contributor to our collective achievements as a peacekeeping mission.
The United Nations Police occupy a unique role among the world's police as first responders, with a strength of about 11,000 police officers from over 90 countries serving on the front lines of 14 mission contexts. We are often among the most visible representatives of the United Nations in many settings. As first responders, we cannot telecommute. We must continue to have a physical presence supporting host state authorities to maintain law and order, protect civilians, and, importantly, engage with and reassure local populations through our community-oriented policing activities. We provide direct operational support while having and laying the seeds for lasting peace and development by helping our member states realize effective, efficient, representative, responsive, and accountable police services that serve and protect the population. COVID has had a major impact on how we conduct our mandated tasks. Travel restrictions, border closures, and movement restrictions have affected our outreach, capacity building, and collocation efforts. Our Secretary General also decided to suspend rotations, repatriations, and new deployments until at least 30 of June to protect our personnel and our host communities. Despite these challenges, we remain strongly committed to delivering our mandates. COVID-19 has demonstrated that public health is a core element of national security. United Nations Police, from Cyprus and Haiti to CAR, Mali, and South Sudan, are conducting vital awareness raising, provision of personal protective equipment, and assistance with humanitarian efforts in support of national counterparts and the population directly. This pandemic has also been an opportunity to highlight the importance of multilateralism and our peacekeeping partnerships with member states, UN partners, NGOs, regional organizations like the African Union and European Union, and international partners like Interpol. United Nations peacekeepers operate under some of the most difficult conditions, often far from loved ones and from our national context. We are reminding of this, especially now during this pandemic. But as police peacekeepers, we must always keep in mind the people we are sworn to protect and to serve. Despite their circumstances, our police peacekeepers remain resilient and remain hopeful of light following the darkest days. And so must we. We choose to serve with United Nations Police because it means having an impact far beyond our national borders. We are giving hope and relief to some of the world's most vulnerable. So, on the International Day of Peacekeepers, we honor the work of our brave women and men police officers and urge all of them to stay strong, stay healthy, and stay the course, because the world is counting on them. Together, we will build a better world for the children of the future.
Yes, I might say I had 3 previous experiences from Bosnia, Kosovo, and the DR Congo, where in the first 2 missions, primarily what we did was patrols, and patrols entails protecting of civilians and gathering information. Well, I must say my motivation lies in my devotion to duty, my devotion to peace. And as a police officer, once a police officer, always a peace officer. That is how I see it. And I enjoy working to bring peace in ravaged countries like we are in now. And then want to be a member of the fraternity of peacekeepers. One other aspect is that from my previous missions, I've realized that the population is vulnerable, and their situation is actually very bad. So they expect a lot from us as peacekeepers. So basically, I must say, I need to contribute my quota here to enhance the accountability of the mission, and also to talk, to adopt, to educate or sensitize the UN POLs, that's the United Nations Police, to have a higher standard of professionalism in order to maintain their mandate. Well, I must say there is hope in the future. Yeah, that is what I have to say. There is hope. There is hope for peace.
No, actually, this is my first time peacekeeping mission here with MINUSCA, so I don't have any previous experience. And how can I say that after coming here, I have noticed that the environment is very good here. And I have so many colleagues from different countries, and they're from different culture. So I got to know many things about their culture also. But you know, it's not easy to serve at a place without your near and dear ones. So it's a bit challenging for me as well as all the peacekeepers as well. Yeah, actually, I always wondered that how female peacekeepers could go to the battlefields, leaving their family, their children behind. And their will and courage always motivated me. And now I have experienced their lives very confidently and comfortably. And I am very proud to represent my country in the UN. And I am also proud to work with MINUSCA to achieve peace in Central African Republic. Training. And you know, after the outbreak of the corona, we are arranging some trainings in the sectors and also here on COVID about what and how we can fight against a pandemic.
For me, it is something special to contribute in this way to more peace in the world. I'm also convinced that women in UN missions are a clear sign of equality. Being a soldier means being a peacekeeper. There is nothing a soldier wants more than to work for peace. Well, I'm convinced that we will have more women in UN missions in the future. Many women, however, are still unaware that they can make a free contribution as soldiers in UN missions.
Yeah, the most important element of this mandate we are currently serving under is the protection of civilian part. DRC context is a little bit complicated because of a number of factors. The first one being the plethora of the armed elements which are operating in DRC. In other countries, you will have 2 or 3 armed groups against each other, but in DRC, more or closer to 100. Everybody from different nationalities, from different backgrounds, working together, serving for a common purpose, and that is achieving peace. Now, it's very special and unique working with colleagues in United Nations who comes from different backgrounds and nations. We are working together, not a kind of thinking of our background, of our nationalities or anything, but we are just working for a common goal, and that is pursuit for peace. I've been having very good relationship with my colleagues, my brothers and sisters in DRC. So for me, moving out, interacting with anybody, everybody is always simple, and they're always very welcoming. We know each other, we got some history behind it. Yes, there is, I can say, there is a very big difference. That, being a peacekeeper, you got to put into play a lot of dynamics. You got to put into play a lot of thought process before you conduct operations. At times, we show force. At times, we restrain from shooting so that we can actually show the armed groups there is more solutions out there other than just killing. Peacekeeping is one of the very essential initiatives which I see the international community has put in place, especially with regard to the protection of the vulnerables, innocent civilians who are always caught at loggerheads, and they got no way to protect themselves. In that situation, they shall always need somebody to be out there to support and protect them. Being a peacekeeper, it makes me proud to feel and see what I achieve by protecting such individuals. On top of that, maybe I might just share with my Congolese brothers and sisters that peaceful coexistence is possible. Let us all play our part.
Well, what is so special is that after having served for almost 20 years in one of the most finest armies, I am now part of an international organization that promotes world peace, social justice and development while safeguarding human rights across genders with impartiality. Well, in any conflict, the maximum suffering is brought amongst the civilian population. So I feel the most important element of the mandate is protection of these civilians and to mitigate the effects of violence as much as possible for them. This, I feel, is one of the most important attributes of peacekeeping in a conflict zone. Our relations and interaction with the local communities has been positive and forthcoming for both. In fact, it has always been our endeavor to motivate the youth to dream big so that they can develop and work for the development of their country and have a prosperous future. I feel the main difference lies in the mental orientation because it's diagrammatically opposite. For the soldier, a person across is always an enemy, whereas for a peacekeeper, the person across can be somebody who's lost his way and needs guidance. A soldier might be biased bias or is biased towards his own army, whereas a peacekeeper has to be completely unbiased and impartial. But yes, being a soldier does help you to be a good peacekeeper, as it empowers you with the emotional intelligence required to deal with the situation. I feel the COVID scenario has been more of a mental barrier than a physical one. We as peacekeepers work sans boundaries, and the mental barrier created during the COVID scenario just impinges our interaction with the local communities. People are as such scared of the unknown repercussions, so I think it alienates us. I feel the general public should know that we are here as their friends, a completely neutral body who wants their development and who will always be there with them to traverse the path to peace. And together we can take small steps for a bright future. My message on the International Day of Peacekeeping is that this world is a beautiful place with verve. So let's strive together with peace and harmony and create a positive and wonderful experience of what we call life.